It's a new year. New coaches have taken over successful programs at New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Nicholls State has their title coach back for another title shot. The high schools are geared up and ready to go. So are we. Sports on the Bayou is back. Our very own Cajun Cannon Bobby Hebert, well, he's offering in-depth analysis and game strategies. Former Pro Bowler Rich Marty brings his candid talk back for another year. Mike Detillier will offer his great insight to the sports news each and every week. This year, the vivacious Debbie Cox DeNova will have her own segment, Good Vibes. Our high school expert, Stan Gravois, will be on hand to discuss high school standings. The thumper, Harry McCullough, will focus on Nicholls State's season. The infamous Dr. Pat Hagan is back, and he'll get to ask his question each and every show. This year, our naming sponsors will be a part of the show. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford & Associates, for all of your insurance needs. St. Martin & Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Some perennial corporate sponsors are also on hand. They are South Louisiana Bank, Bayou, Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, the Barker Family Tradition of Quality, BioPure, and BCG Services. This year, I'll assume a new role. I'll be a chief referee who will make sure that everyone gets equal time.
Yeah, right.
Now from the Eugene and Lorraine Falls studios in Houma, Louisiana, it's time for Sports on the Bayou.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another season of Sports on the Bayou. Mike Detillier, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert, Rich Marty. We got a lot to talk about this week. Saints won, LSU won, so we'll bring it to you right after this break here on Sports on the Bayou.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford & Associates, for all of your insurance needs. And St. Martin & Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Sports on the Bayou.
Here in South Louisiana, we know how important it is to protect our families.
When one of our neighbors is injured because of someone else's neglect, our team is compelled to use our experience, skills, and knowledge to seek justice and hold wrongdoers accountable. If you've been injured and want to know your rights, call St. Martin & Bourke today.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Whether it's your home or your business, Bayou specializes in disinfection application, along with water, fire, mold damage cleanup. Call Bayou today to get your free consultation at 985-322-3003.
BCG Services, local experts for concrete leveling and foundation repair, providing quality solutions for a variety of foundation issues. With years of experience applying Floor Shield products to both homes and businesses, you can trust our team to provide high-quality results. Call for a free consultation.
Sports on the Bayou's corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, BioPure, along with BCG Services. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
Back here on Sports on the Bayou, guys, Al Davis said it best, right? Just win, baby. 27-26. Man, you talk about a wild fourth quarter. That I've seen, even from a kid on, every Saints-Falcons game. This is the most unique to see how it ended up at the end. And, man, with the Falcons, is between the ears now. You see it. They've lost all these games in the fourth quarter, one way or another. It's a psychological deal. You can tell, and you can tell the coach is feeling it by his emotions after the game. He's like, man, y'all wanted to bury us in May. Now you want to bury us after this game? Well, we got 16 more to go. That don't make you feel real good if you're a Falcons fan or a player.
Critical game for the Saints, but you obviously weren't watching in the late 80s and the late 70s and the early 80s because we had some stupid, crazy games on the bad side.
First vice.
Right, it was the other side of that thing. Critical game, I think, for the Saints. It absolutely sets the tone for them on a winning season, knowing that they have the confidence to come back. But, in the beginning of that game, it looked like they were watching the LSU in their first game. They didn't show up for 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, they finally kick in, right? Yeah. And Jameson kicks in and does what he needs to do moving forward. He has no escapability, so he needs to sit in that pocket, get rid of the ball quick.
Can't guard Mike.
Can't guard. And Mike Thomas, obviously, he's back. So, Bobby, you got it.
Well, to show you how bad Jameis Winston was, he was sacked 4 times and had minus 2 yards net passing in the first half. Now, you have to look at it. How do you finish the game? Now, the fourth quarter comeback, he was 13 of 16, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was unbelievable. Now, you need to get off to a fast start, I think, because you don't need to roll the dice and say you can have this kind of comeback. The reason why I say this, over 50-plus years of Saints history, it was the first time the Saints won a game by being down by 16 points in the fourth quarter.
They go to show you there was some bad teams back then, too.
Yeah, now remember they had a comeback against the Redskins when they were called the Redskins back in 2017. They overcame a 15-point deficit. So it can happen, but 16 points, no. Look, better be lucky than good, whether it's an ugly win or a convincing win. They all count the same. But the one thing, this is unbelievable, this sample size. Do you know the Saints and Falcons have played each other 106 times? What do you think their record is? It's 53-53. What? The NFL loves this. You can't have more parity than that. Is 53-53.
And they've been playing each other since 1967.
Yeah, so you look at that sample size, and look, the Saints have captured, if you look at this, they've now won 5 games in a row in Atlanta. So I don't care if it's the Georgia Dome, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. They've won now 5 straight games in Atlanta, and they've captured, when you look at this, 4 consecutive season openers. Because, we don't necessarily get a fast start, but we won our last 4 season openers. And then when you look in Atlanta, that's been like a home game for the Saints.
We're going to go to the highlights of the Saints' come-from-behind victory. Early on, Marcus Mariota does what he does best, but the Saints did a good job with Kyle Pitts. Just 2 catches. You just see one of them, and then, he's money in the bank. But Taysom Hill comes in, a huge run here, 57 yards to the 11-yard line.
And, when you look at that run by Taysom Hill, that 57-yard run was the longest of the game and his career. The previous run was 44 yards before that.
And then Mariota looks as though they're going to score again, but Marcus May gets in on the tackle. Honey Badger in there, too. But then, all of a sudden, Jameis gets hot, and Juwan Johnson with a big catch. Then again, Jameis throwing it downfield, and he hits Jarvis Landry, and then bang, Michael Thomas comes up with the touchdown. 2 of them, he's never done that. You would have thought by now he'd have had 2 touchdowns in the game, but it's the first time. And then again, can't guard Mike, comes in, makes a big score, and then they fumble the exchange. Why are you in the shotgun to begin with is amazing. And Jarvis Landry with a great catch here. And then here it is. This is why you paying Will Lutz a lot of money, and he kicks it through, and then we all sweat it out the final minute. And then the block by last year's first-round pick, Peyton Turner, seals the deal for the Saints. 27-26, guys. That's about as good as it'll get. And, Bob, as you said, man, for TV and radio, man, this is what the NFL wants. And they didn't get it just here. Look across the board. Okay, that was a couple blowouts. Buffalo, they are who they are. Kansas City, they are who they are. And Tampa, Man, they put it to the Cowgirls, as you would say. But all these other games were really close first week of the season. And for people who don't want to watch football for other reasons, man, you're missing out on a lot of good football.
Well, it's the best against the best when you look at the NFL. That's why, listen, if you take any social issue and put that aside, if you like to watch football, watch football.
Rich, I think some of this having to do with confidence with a veteran team that the Saints have, and I think it showed up in the fourth quarter.
Look at Michael Thomas. I mean, he makes some he's back, and I think that energy, it just spreads throughout the team. And then Jameson, again, he comes back, he doesn't panic. He gets a quick release, and he gets that team going again.
Right, guys, we go to break, and we'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Coming up, Sports on the Bayou will go in the audience and introduce the naming sponsors and the guests that have come for this week's show. It's all right after the break.
Shop, Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! I'm Chris St. Martin. Many of us know what it means to have roots here on the Bayou. I'm no different. My family has been here for generations. Likewise, the firm of St. Martin and Bourke has been helping the injured in this region for almost 50 years. We're honored to serve the people of South Louisiana and the Bayou region. Remember, if you've been hurt in an accident and you want to know your rights, call St. Martin and Bourke today to schedule your free consultation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, I'll throw it to you.
I'll tell you what, we have a packed house, so we're going to first of all meet our naming sponsors. And let's go to Alford and Associates. Y'all give yourselves a hand. Y'all are naming sponsors. Come on. Priscilla Larpenter, the COO. Please raise your hand as I call you out. Erica Daigle, Service Executive. Justin Bourgeois, there's the man right there in sales. Hunter Olson, also in sales. Kelly DeRursey, the CFO. Where's Kelly at? There we go. And Cassie, who's the quoting executive. There you go. Raise your hand high. There you go. And Shauna Liner, who's the billing executive. All right, y'all give them a hand.
All right.
All right, we're going to move to St. Martin and Bourke, a perennial sponsor here, and we're going to introduce them real quick. Look at Joe Jevick in the house. Joe, raise your hand for us. Scott Gautreaux, by the way, Joe's an attorney at the firm. Just kidding. Scott Gautreaux, Terrebonne High faculty. Scott, welcome aboard. Tyler Lewis is in the house.
Yeah.
Terrebonne High. There we go. Joseph Priscilla, a student and football player at Terrebonne High. Joseph, raise that hand high now.
Go, Joe.
You know, we have Wyatt Clements in the house. Where's Wyatt? There we go. Mr. Mike Ratliff. Boy, he's a perennial. Mr. Mike, raise that hand high. And we have Mr. Jerry Schwab, the famous Jerry Schwab, is in the house. Mr. Jerry, good to see you. All right, we're going to move one over. Our third naming sponsor is Rouse's. They're the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Y'all give them a hand. Look at Tim Acosta out there. Tim makes a guest appearance. He's the marketing director for Rouse's. You see them guys everywhere on TV. Harry was talking to him before the show trying to get a gig on that deal, but we're going to see how that works out. Look at Harley Bro, the marketing coordinator. Harley, raise your hand. Amanda Kennedy, the senior manager, brand and marketing strategy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here for sure. Meredith Ball is the wine and spirits category manager. Meredith, we all want your phone number.
There you go. Yes.
Nathan Ball is the seafood category manager. Nathan. Tabitha Terrio is the HR generalist. There you go, Tabitha. Blake Reshore, business development, commercial, and marine supply. There's Blake. And Eric Ford is the store director. All right, Eric, good to see you.
Eric.
The HR person,
Right,
the one I'm avoiding.
We're going to keep rocking and rolling because we got some other tables here. We also have our talent table. They're getting ready to come on. We added a little beauty to that table this year. Debbie's there because
beauty.
Pat and Harry just weren't covering it. So we added Debbie. Yeah, a lot.
I thought you were talking about Pat.
Let's move across the grain like we tell quarterbacks not to throw across the grain. Let's go to South Louisiana Bank. They're a perennial sponsor. They're a corporate sponsor here. We appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. We have Terrebonne General Health Systems. Look at Percy. He keeps Danny right next to him. He has to have an attorney right next to him, huh? Huh, Percy? There you go. Thank you all for being here. Barker Honda, the Prince of Bel Air, Lester Beamer is in the house. Lester, good to see you. And we're going to get to some of these names as we go along. We have BioPure and BCG Services also in the house. We have, there we go, Terrebonne Parish Government. Look at that crew out there. And we're going to get to a few names in a little bit. We have Grand Isle Shipyards and the Port Commission. They're in the house also. Let's go to table 11 here. We have a special guest table. Look at the retired coaches. If I could add those victories on this table and the amount of wins they had, it's unbelievable. Three legends. Coach Albert, raise your hand so everybody can see you. Coach Spinella and Coach Vincent. And Steve just soaking up the knowledge at that table. All right, and I want to also give credit to the Terrebonne Parish School District. We have Miss Sandra LaRose and her crew out there. Sandra, you know Bubba Orgeron, Bobby.
Yeah.
One of y'all natives.
Yep.
You know, if he breaks an ankle, Sandra's running the show. I just want you to know that. So, Sandra, raise your hand. Where's Sandra? There she is.
She's like the Andy Dalton.
Go right down the street from me. There you
She's
go.
the Andy Dalton.
All right, we also have the TITA table and CIS. Y'all wave. That's a high-powered table back there. So, but the most important room in this whole building is my mom's suite over there. There's Mom in there. She's back for another year of Sports on the Bayou. Mama, if you could raise your hand. And Mom's with her nephews, in-laws, her sister, her brother. So we're going to get to that. So good to see all of y'all. And Mike, we'll kick it back to you.
All right, we'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Coming up on Sports on the Bayou, we'll talk LSU football. We'll break down the highlights and analysis of this week's game and the upcoming game. You won't want to miss it. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Sports on the Bayou.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.
Cardiovascular Institute of the South's Ambulatory Surgery Center offers patients advanced and innovative outpatient procedures using the latest technology and treatment options. The first of its kind in the region, this center provides our patients and their families with high-quality care in a convenient, comfortable, and safe environment at a lower cost. Trust your care to the cardiovascular care team you know and love at CIS. Learn more at cardio.com.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And St. Martin & Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Now, back to more Sports on the Bayou.
Back here on Sports on the Bayou, guys. LSU got healthy real quick, so to speak, and 65-17 over Southern. Again, I think if you'd have left first, second string people in there,
they could have scored 100 points
easily in this game. They were overmatched, but at least you saw, and I don't think you get a better view of it this week when they played Mississippi State, but offensive line play was better.
Yeah.
Special teams was it couldn't be any worse than it was week one. But special teams got better, and they got after Southern and, man, put points on the board. And it wasn't field goals. It was touchdowns.
Well, if you look at it, LSU, they've now won 35 consecutive victories. When you think about that against an in-state opponent, that's what we expect. I mean, come on. Who'd be – in theory, Louisiana, University of Louisiana Lafayette or Tulane, and Louisiana Tech, it's unacceptable. They can't be on LSU's level. So that's why it didn't surprise me 35 consecutive games. But when you look at LSU scored in all three phases during the record-setting first quarter, they scored 37 points. Just like in the first quarter, not at halftime. So they had 37 points. So, Mike, when I look at it against Florida State, they had just one takeaway in the loss to Florida State, and then LSU had 3 in the first half alone against Southern, and a total of 5, 4 fumbles and 1 interception. So bottom line is they had 5 touchdowns scored in the first 15 minutes. So listen, I'm glad that they played Southern finally because it's their neighbors right there in Baton Rouge.
And the halftime was awesome.
No, the bands were awesome. You ain't got to worry about the jukebox going.
I think you got to give Kelly credit. You know, they could have easily not. He could have not gotten that team back together and got focused. I can't imagine the wrath that some of those kids went through during the week of practice. But
no, but the
challenge, another challenge for Kelly.
They played Southern.
I know it is, but they still played well.
Mississippi State.
I know, but I think they could have been a little iffy there with the new coach and having that challenge coming out of the box and playing as poorly as they did.
Some people weren't ready. If you watch Appalachian State or Marshall, who are better than Southern, but still they weren't ready. Ramos with the kickoff here, and boy, almost from the start, Southern knew it was bad. A fumble here. Sage Ryan comes up with the recovery. And then Jaden Daniels, again, impressive outing, second straight week, takes off running with the football.
Well, the thing is that there's no quarterback controversy. He's the quarterback.
Not after watching this one.
Yeah, he's the guy.
And then here we go, Armani Goodwin, and he's a shortcut back, but man, he's a tough little guy out on the field. And then you see Josh gets in for the score. And it kept on going, but then they got Kayshawn Booty.
They got him involved early, and that's what they needed to do.
And he will have to play a much bigger role against Mississippi State. You got to put points on the board.
Yeah, it could be a shootout
against the Bulldogs. And then Jaden running around in the pocket, finds some open time, gets the ball downfield, touchdown for the Tigers. And again, now the defensive play for the pick 6 here, for the score. And at this point, man.
Well, when you look at Baskerville, Mike, he needs to play more. I don't care if he's a senior trying to develop for the future. Against Mississippi State, his skill set, he needs to be in the game.
He's played all over the board, inside, outside, and then Malik Neighbors comes in with the score. And then again, a lot of pressure all game long. They got pressure on Southern's quarterback, and then the blocked punt, and they kick it out the back of the end zone. But again, it is what it is. You saw much better special teams play. And the pump fake, throws it downfield, wide open for the score. And LSU played 8 different receivers in this game. All of them made plays downfield. You see it, running around, makes a throw downfield, gets it picked off. Come on, you got to throw that away. You got to throw it away.
You can't be that much of a gunslinger.
He don't like it, but it's the truth. He is a gunslinger. And then again, a big play downfield with Malik. Gets it down, set it up, a real short run for the score with Noah Kane. Former Baton Rouge guy, went to Penn State. I wonder what happened there. Rich?
There's only one ball. He probably wasn't getting it enough.
Rich didn't give him enough money. That's why he left.
Well, they just called me on the way to the show asking for money. How'd you know?
And then again, a second, Bobby, as you would say, a second brain fart by Nussmeier. Come on. You got to throw that ball away. Just throw it away. Southern gets their first points, and then LSU just punches it in again, and now they're in the 60s now at this point. Now LSU's probably got third-string people in, along with walk-ons, and Southern gets.
That was a great catch.
That was a really good catch. Really, really good catch by Dyson. He gets it down to the 1-yard line. Then 1-yard touchdown run for the Jaguars.
So does this have anything to do with the point spread against you?
49 and 40. Wasn't it 49?
You sweated it out.
No, it was like different. It was like 38 and a half, 48 and a half, depending where you
bet.
It. Yeah, where you bet. But
at some places it was 46, some places 48, 49. So that last field goal
made a difference.
Did matter.
It always does.
It
right?
did matter, guys. We'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Coming up, Debbie Cox DeNova will have her Good Vibes segment. Stick around. You may learn something.
I'm Chris St. Martin.
And I'm Chuck Bork.
Truth is, nobody wants to hire an attorney. If you're coming to us, it's probably one of the most difficult times in your life.
But it's also true that if you've been injured, you need someone to explain your rights.
Since 1967, St. Martin and Bork has been helping the people of South Louisiana understand their rights. If you've been injured and want to know more about your rights, call us for a free consultation today.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford & Associates, for all of your insurance needs. And St. Martin and Bork Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Now, back with more Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, a new edition here on Sports on the Bayou. Ms. Debbie, and Debbie, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. About 2 months ago, I saw Debbie on shows with Martin, and I said, man, they give me this gig up until 8 o'clock. So I said, man, I got to get Debbie on to come talk. But you know, Charlie, he was a little, man, I don't know if she wants to take calls. I said, well, don't worry about it. We'll just ask people to text. Man, that text line, it lit up all the way down. I should have took the calls. It would have made my job a lot easier, Debbie. You did a super job, and it's great to have you on the show.
It was so much fun, and I appreciate it. And look, today we're doing Good Vibes for the first time on Sports on the Bayou, and I'm really interested to know you guys' impressions about the answer to this question that I got, which is in regards to locker room dynamics. So what happens in a locker room when there's an alpha, and we all know that alphas are just established naturally in humans and in animals, and there's another alpha who wants to take over the position of alpha. So this was fascinating research for me because a lot of this research comes from the studies from Franz de Waals, who wrote a book called Chimpanzee Politics. So it's about primates mostly, and mostly about chimpanzees. But there are a lot of parallels between monkeys and humans. And what we found is that, you know, the alpha, the person who is, or the animal who is the dominant, is not always the biggest or the strongest, not even an extrovert, okay, the most talkative. In fact, strength and shows of dominance are, physical dominance are important, but there are 3 different things that people look for in leadership qualities. So if you have somebody who's in a leadership position, you don't feel like they're doing a good job as a leader, and you're thinking about maybe challenging that position, you should know this about the research. Okay, so when someone is going on a campaign to dethrone the leader or the alpha, they tend to show generosity a lot. So chimpanzees in general male chimpanzees do not have a lot of interest in babies. But when they're looking to dethrone the alpha, they tend to tickle the babies of the females and sort of ingratiate themselves to the females, they also actually look into the coalitions, because both humans and primates have coalition systems, right? So they look to sort of poke holes in the coalition systems, but also be very generous. Empathetic. So across all animal species, empathy is highest in females, except with the alpha male. The alpha male actually shows more, demonstrates more empathy than even the females do, especially when they're looking to dethrone an alpha male. So we're talking about showing comfort. So you think about presidents going to places where there are earthquakes and really comforting people. Empathy is a big one. And then finally, peacekeeping. So sort of controlling the peace. And what's really interesting is that someone who is really good at this will break up fights, right? So there are fights that happen amongst the group, and they'll break the fights up, and they're very impartial. They're really good at being impartial. Typically, chimpanzees are not. They like their friends, they like their family. But when there's an alpha male, they're good at breaking up the fight and staying impartial, and usually actually coming up for the underdog, which makes them extremely popular. And so when you have an alpha who is both generous and empathetic, and they're good at peacekeeping, they're really popular, and actually after they are dethroned as the alpha, the group actually tends to still hold them upright. And sometimes older ex-alphas have more power than even the current alpha. So if you are looking to dethrone someone, first of all, know that coalitions do not like bullies. So if you come in beating your chest and trying to challenge the alpha to a fight, even though you may win, in the end, if you do not have the support of the group, you will not actually win. So generosity, empathy, and peacekeeping is what we're looking for.
Bob, you the quarterback. Why don't you answer that one?
Man, that sounds like a lot of woke stuff to me. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to just tell you, you cannot be an introvert and truly lead the locker room. Especially playing quarterback, you got to be an extrovert. Well, you got to talk. You got to communicate with people. Now, the number one thing, like Sam Mills or like a Von Johnson, they were like E.F. Hutton. When they spoke, then people listened because they wasn't saying any just to be talking. But you cannot be a leader in a football locker room unless you're an extrovert. If you're an introvert, Jeff George, who I played with, could throw the ball as well as John Elway and Dan Marino, and he was an introvert. He could not lead the team. I mean, he was like, I know I'm good. Well, I don't know what's wrong with all of y'all.
We'll be back with more sports.
But yeah, you got to get it done right there.
Coming up, Harry McCullough with a live studio guest as Sports on the Bayou continues.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience, shopper style.
Oh yeah!
Here at South Louisiana Bank, we support our neighbors, the organizers, the helpers, the leaders, the dreamers. We support those that move our community forward. Louisiana has grown from the dedication, commitment, and loyalty of the people who call this beautiful place home. We are proud to offer our services to the communities in South Louisiana. South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Shot, throw it to you, brother.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about what's going on around the rest of the college football world. Of course, Nichols is off to an 0-2 start as far as Louisiana schools. Tulane is 2-0. Southern is 1-1. McNeese 0-2. Southeast 0-2. Tech's 1-1, Gramblin's 1-1, but UL Lafayette is off to a 2-0 start, and we have a Hall of Famer from UL Lafayette, Steve Spinella. Man, thanks so much. I know Rich Marty is going to be bummed out and probably a little jealous because this is an Italian-American Hall of Famer right here. Actually, I happen to be in the Italian-American Hall of Fame. All-American, never mind. Not an All-American. In lacrosse.
Honorable
lacrosse.
think that was preseason.
Did you play lacrosse? No. I knew Rich would enjoy that. But, yeah, he was All-American back in 1985. Still UL's all-time leading tackler, 363 tackles.
Wow.
86 tackles. But not long ago. Who's counting? But, hey, thanks for being here, man. How's it going, man?
Football time, getting excited about this season. Already watched a bunch of games there a couple weekends ago.
You're good.
Watched the Raging Cajuns.
Cajuns off to a good start.
Yeah. They're starting out a little slow in the first half, but they
had to take a safety at the end of that game to make sure they won it, but they did.
Right, they did.
So, 1982 come out of Terrebonne. So tell me about coming out of Terrebonne. And I remember, I was a couple of years ahead of you, and I was at UL for a year and thinking.
Right, I remember that.
I remember, Spinella's a decent player. And then he turns up, and you're starting right away. You 4-year letterman at school, like, say, all-time leading tackler to school. Tell me about your career and coming out of Terrebonne, how it was going to Lafayette.
Well, I went to HL.
Oh, HL.
Almost went to Terrebonne.
I did my research.
Yeah, Dad coached at Terrebonne, and I went to the feeder school, then I ended up going to HL.
Yeah, that's a penalty on me.
So, I had an opportunity to play college ball, and UL was right down the road. Didn't really want to go any further. Actually, Dad played at Tulane, so I was always
you had to.
I was an option, but had a great career there. My freshman year, deep snap, played some special teams, but I did come to a program where I think they were coming off 1-9-1 the prior year, so they had a junior, senior, so it was a good opportunity to get in and play some ball, and the spring of my freshman year got to start, and just had a great time, met some great friends. Down in the.
Oh yeah, I remember all those players. Like I said, I think I recruited a few of them before I took off.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
But so yeah, like I say, you had such a great career there. Let's talk about some of the great players you play against. And I know it's a running joke between you and I. I was playing up in Appleton, Wisconsin, with a bunch of dudes from Alabama in the minor league baseball. Right. And I said, UL Lafayette at the time, USL is taking on Auburn in the first TBS game ever. And I said, the Cajuns are going to put it on Bo Jackson and the Auburn Tigers. Tell me a little bit about that game.
Yeah, well, that's I think they were preseason number 1.
Right.
So right then and there, that was it was playing the number 1 team in the nation was so exciting. We got to play Auburn, Florida, played Alabama, and UNLV, and
had a good schedule. No wonder y'all were 1-9 the year before.
Right. Yeah.
But I remember that too.
We didn't win too many games, but
Yeah, I remember that too. Is because y'all used to have to play these money games, right?
Sure, you got to have that.
But Bo Jackson, a little different cat, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. He was a great guy. I got to, he was a captain that game,
right?
And I was a captain. So we get to the midfield, and we go to shake hands, and
No, that's all right. Just finish it up. We're wrapping up.
As long as I don't get a yellow flag on that. So I guess it was a kind of precursor to Bo knows.
Right.
Bo knew my name.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my goodness.
All right.
So,
Steve Spinella. Man, thank you so much, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you.
And always great to catch up with a legend from our area. We'll be right back with more Sports on the Bayou right after this.
All right.
Coming up, Dr. Pat gets to ask his question of the week as Sports on the Bayou is right around the corner.
Selecting an insurance provider for your business is a big decision.
With over 26 years of experience, our Alford team is your solution for quality and proven coverage.
The customer service you remember from years ago is what we pride our team on.
We know how important your company is to the community.
From small businesses to large businesses, Alford & Associates can manage your insurance. It's our job.
Alford & Associates, benefiting your employees and protecting your business.
At Barker Honda, we have the aggressive all-new Honda Ridgeline. Ridgeline has class-leading cab space, easy folding seats for storage, standard all-wheel drive, versatile tailgate, automatic in-bed lighting, Plywood lies flat in the truck bed? Large rear storage for work? Ice chest with drain? Or whatever. And remember, it's better at Barker.
Sports on the Bayou's corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, BioPure along with BCG Services. Now, back to Sports on the Bayou.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, and it's Dr. Pat's segment. Doc?
Welcome back, guys. And the question would be about weapons, for example. You know, Bobby, I heard you talking a few weeks about Eric Martin.
Right.
And how Michael Thomas is like an all-pro version of what Eric Martin was.
Without a doubt.
And it's kind of like, you know, you had Mays and Hilliard, but imagine you lost Eric Martin, Morton Anderson for a season, and the next year you come back and Mr. Fink says, hey, Bobby, I'm giving you Michael Thomas back, I'm giving you your kicker back, and I'm adding Jarvis Landry and Olave, the first-round draft choice. What would you think about having those weapons at your disposal?
Mr. Finks didn't do that to
Yeah,
you.
I
know that.
He was always getting linemen. But, no, I always said this. If I could have just had the Falcons receivers in New Orleans, like Andre Rison, Van Boone Rison, Michael.
What about Rich? You could have had Rich, you know?
No, we need Rich on the special. He's like with
You
JT
just wouldn't
Gray.
invite his girlfriend to your house, right?
It would be like Rich is like the old school JT Gray, dominant on special teams, but no, to have like a Michael Haynes who could take the top off of a defense. You know, I have the longest pass in Falcons history, and it was to Michael Haynes against the Saints. Oh, it was like 98 yards in the Georgia Dome. So I'm in the record book in that regard. But no, Michael Haynes, like Chris Olave, take the top off the defense.
And
Andre Rison. Then I had Eric Martin. No, that's why Jameis Winston should have success. The only thing, he got sacked 4 times. I think Drew Brees would have been sacked about 2. You got to get rid of the football. That's one thing. He's explosive. They did up-tempo. That helped him out. But he still needs to know where his outlets are. And an outlet might be like, well, that's not a complicated pass. An outlet might be just dumping it from here to Mr. Costa to Alvin Kamara. Just dump him the ball and just let him get the yards after the catch. So that'll be interesting to see how Jameis progress in that regard. But let me tell you, I don't know what happened, but when he went in that tent, I don't know what happened in that tent. When he came out that tent, he was like Clark Kent. He was like Superman coming out of the old telephone booth. I mean, Jameis Winston was unbelievable. So if ever he's struggling,
Put him back in the tent.
I told Dennis Allen this. If we don't get off to a fast start, just send Jameis Winston into the tent and bring him back out. It might work magic.
They got the pace going, though. He was 2 steps throwing that ball.
No, they were doing up-tempo, and what you have to do, you got to be able to do both. Up-tempo, and because you want your defense also to rest. That's why you're not always doing up-tempo, because you got to complement what your defense is trying to do.
Right.
So the one guy I know who was ready to roll, I'm telling you, Jameis knows this, is Andy Dalton.
Yep.
Jameis Winston got to get it done, because you look at the supporting cast, and to tell you the truth, I was more disappointed where our defense was at right now.
That's what I thought.
Now, because you look, I mean, like Deuce McAllister got all mad. Man, we got a number 84 wide receiver just gashing us, because he looks at Cordell Patterson as a wide receiver, but he was a beast.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate it. We'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
And right after the break, Stan Gravois takes a look at key high school football games on Sports on the Bayou.
Here in South Louisiana, we know how important it is to protect our families.
When one of our neighbors is injured because of someone else's neglect, our team is compelled to use our experience, skills, and knowledge to seek justice and hold wrongdoers accountable. If you've been injured and want to know your rights, call St. Martin and Bourke today.
If you are suffering from chronic cough, bronchitis, reactive airway, or persistent asthma that's difficult to control, or diagnosed with COPD, please listen carefully. You may be suffering from allergy sinus, bronchial asthma syndrome, for as we now know that undetected or uncontrolled infection in the upper airway can affect the lower respiratory tract. If this is happening to you, please call us for an evaluation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Now, back to more Sports on the Bayou.
Back here on Sports on the Bayou, we're going to throw it to Stan the Man. He's got all the high school happenings across our area.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Terrebonne General Sports Institute Weekly High School Football Report. Today we'll take a look back at a couple of big early non-district rival games that were held on Friday night in our area, along with the scores and standings after 2 weeks of high school football play. We start things off by going to the northern part of the parish where the homestanding Homer Christian Warriors took on their rival, Covenant Christian Academy, over at Warrior Field. Early in this one, Homer Christian goes on top when quarterback Brady Marcel hits this little dump-off screen to Micah Colley for the touchdown. After the extra point, Homer Christian up 7-0. But this fumble recovery by the Lions led to a score a few plays later. They tacked on a 2-point conversion. They lead it 8-7. After Homer Christian took the lead back in the middle of the third quarter, late in the fourth quarter, it was this. Tristan Rogers to Connor Baskel touchdown pass for Covenant Christian leads to the win. Covenant Christian ekes out a 15-14 victory over Homer Christian. In another non-district rival game, it was all Thibodaux over South Lafourche early in the first quarter. Ian Rodrigue on a 33-yard touchdown run. Still early in the first quarter, it's Rodrigue again, one of the better athletes in our area. Throwing it down, that is Owen Murillo on the touchdown reception. And still in the first quarter, it's Rodrigue again. He dumps it off to DeMarcus Singleton for another score. No problems for the Tigers. They win it easily over South Lafourche. In Matthews, it was Central Lafourche trying to get their first win in 3 years, but an early Vanderbilt lead, Teddy Golick on a touchdown reception. The Terriers go up by 14 in the second quarter. It's this Robert Blanchard to Jahari Coleman touchdown pass. But the Trojans stayed in it thanks to great plays like this Cayman Westerman catch in the end zone for a touchdown. But a great effort in the second half wasn't enough. Vanderbilt Catholic holds on for a 36-25 win. In other Week 2 action, HL Bourgeois and Terrebonne High both go down in Thursday action to New Orleans area schools. Also going down to New Orleans area schools, South Terrebonne, they lose to McDonough 35. E.D. White keeps on keeping on. They defeat Hannon 38-0. Hornbill gets their first win of the season. St. Charles an extra point better than Lutcher. Destrehan no problem. Ellender loses to Single A Country Day. And St. James blasts West St. John. Each week at this time, it's my intent to bring you the standings and PowerPoint rankings of each of our local teams. But I gotta tell you, the LHSAA made a ruling on Friday afternoon that has a lot of us really scratching our heads. I'm gonna try and explain that to you as we go through each of these rankings and let you know what the future might hold for our Bayou Region teams. According to the ruling, all 7-5A teams will now be playing in the non-select Division I bracket. But in 7-4A, South Terrebonne and South Lafourche will now play in the Division I non-select bracket in all sports. Assumption and Ellender will now play in the Division II non-select bracket, but not in baseball and basketball. Lutcher and Morgan City will play in the Division II bracket in all sports, and Vanderbilt will now play in the Division II select bracket in most sports. In District A3A, E.D. White is in the Division II bracket, everybody else Division III. In 9-2A, it's all teams except for South Plaquemine in the Division III select bracket. And in District 7, 1A, Jeanerette and Centerville go to one bracket. Everybody else in that district goes to a different bracket. And if you didn't get any of that, you probably think with a little bit too much logic. We'll see you next week with a wrap-up of Week 3 of the prep season and maybe even a little more definition on the LHSAA rulings coming out of Baton Rouge.
Coming up on Sports on the Bayou, we'll put the naming sponsors against the host in picking the scores of the games this week. Who'll be the closest? We'll see if the sponsors can beat the experts as Sports on the Bayou continues.
Here at Rouse's, we have our own brands of products, which you'll find down every aisle of our stores. These are the best quality at the best price. They compare to the national brands we sell, but at a lower cost. Most are made right here, but we travel the world too. And we personally taste test and guarantee every item. So if our name's on the label, you can trust it's good. Rouse's brand, best quality at the best price.
Looking to achieve a healthier lifestyle but have little time? The Terrebonne General Executive Health Program can improve your overall health for a lifetime in one visit. With little to no waiting, you get a whole year of wellness in one convenient location. Our preventative screenings increase your well-being by providing early detection against illness. With exceptional VIP service, you leave with a plan in hand to achieve a healthier lifestyle tailored for you. Call the Terrebonne General Executive Health Team at 985-850-6204 today.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Rouse's Markets, official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And St. Martin and Bourke Attorneys at Law. Know your rights. Now, back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Mike, it's time now to pick the scores.
All right, guys. Rich, I'm going to go to you first. Saints. Bucks.
I like the Saints, too. I think they're going to home game. It'll be exciting to be at. There'll be a lot of energy in there. Their confidence, I think, again, setting the tone in that the way they won the first game, I think they're going to come out and play really, really well. And so I like the Saints by 10 points.
By 10 points. They must have messed up your score.
I'm sorry. They put it up there already. What did I say?
You said by 7.
7 points.
Come
well,
on,
you know
Rich.
what? I didn't pass, man.
So, you didn't pass, man.
I didn't know they were going to flash it up. I was trying to.
There you go. Tim Acosta throws a flag on.
No, and as much
you want him in the store because he don't know what he's buying.
They didn't have math classes at Penn State.
No, they just
Penn State's a real school.
I do like the Saints coming out playing well. I think the defense is going to kick in gear, and I think they could.
Well, we've had Tom Brady's number. But it just goes to show you that the Saints are 2.5-point underdog playing in the Dome. Even though they've had their number, everybody still believes in Tom Brady. Oh, the GOAT, the GOAT. You know what's crazy to show you? This caught my attention. Tom Brady was drafted in 2000, okay? In April. 2 months, he was drafted 2 months before Saints rookie Chris Olave was born. And Tom Brady's still playing. No, think about that. Chris Olave wasn't even born when Tom Brady was drafted.
Well, that's
and Tom
a third
Brady's
of the
still
NFL,
playing at 45.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. But if you look at Chris Olave and how we counting on him and how he's like, I mean, Tom Brady could be my daddy or something. I don't think he is.
And Bob, you don't think LSU will beat Mississippi State? You picked the Bulldogs in this game.
No, I picked the Bulldogs because I think it could be going back and forth. I think, like you said, Vegas got this wrong. At first, they had LSU.
It should have been a pick-em game.
Yeah, they had LSU 2.5-point favorite. Everybody's jumping on Mississippi State. Now LSU's a 2.5-point underdog. So I got it, Mississippi State 34, LSU 31. I think it's going to be highly entertaining, but I got to just see because Coach Leach, listen, he ain't intimidated by Coach Kelly and LSU. So I think it's going to be an outstanding SEC game. But I look at LSU, even with the 2.5 points not covering.
I like the Saints over the Bucks. I think it'll be close. I think it comes down to a field goal. I think Will Lutz does it. I like LSU in a close game, but a little bit less point-wise. I think that as you get longer into the deal, I think the defenses get a little bit better as it goes along. So I like LSU in a close game over Mississippi State.
And generally, it's the other way around. The defenses usually are at
all right, Martin, you pick it.
All right, there we go. I got the Saints over the Bucks. It's going to be close. We don't have Chauncey here to intimidate
Tom Brady,
so we're gonna go with the Saints 24-21. LSU's going to have a strong game. You watch, they're going to come back. We're going to have a breakthrough
That's a dominant
game.
win, Martin. If they win 31-17, that's a dominant win.
I got faith that the Tigers are going to pull it together. And Nichols in a close one. Nichols has got to get it together. Nichols in a close one, 17-14.
So there's Lester like that pick because
come on, you can't go by what Lester's saying. Come on, man.
Yeah, because I don't know. Listen, I'm being objective. I think Southeastern is not the Southeastern of last year or Nichols, but I think Southeastern is still better than Nichols right now. So, I mean,
and this is
don't be hating me. Don't be hating me. I'm just speaking truth.
Debbie likes the under here. 17-14, Saints over the Bucks. She got a big win, too. LSU over Mississippi State, 34-17. And Nichols, 17-16 over Southeastern Missouri.
Nichols got a long way to go, though.
Yeah,
Stan.
They got
a long way to go.
Stan, he's going to go against it. I think he figures maybe it's Tom Brady's shot here, and he picks the Bucks 24-14.
Well, the only reason why Stan's here?
No, Stan's not here.
Okay, let me tell you, 24-14, if that would be the score, it means the Saints turn over the ball. Because the only time Tom Brady and the Bucks have beaten the Saints, and it was in the postseason when we lost, we had 4 turnovers.
Dr. Pat, you picked it Saints, 27-20 over the Bucks, and 35-31. I thought about that if it was going to be a high score, that it would be similar to that. All right, and then H. He goes with the Bucks. You would figure he's going against the trend. He figures eventually that streak will end.
The Who Dat Nation will be ticked off, Harry, if we lose 31-17. If you lose a field goal type game, you're like, well, that could go either way.
And LSU in a high-scoring game over Mississippi State, 42-35.
I think that could happen.
Okay, Alfred and Associates. Oh, a high-scoring game here. Saints, 34-30 over the Bucks. I'd be surprised if it was that type of game.
Yeah,
I could see it being that close.
The Bucks defense and the Saints defense, I think,
really
the Bucks defense, they gave the Cowgirls the business. But
St. Martin and Burke, they picked the Saints 24-13 by 11, and LSU in I think a score that I think is in the range, 27-24 over Mississippi State.
27-24, that could go either way. You could flip that score.
And Rouse's 24-17, Saints Bucks. I could go in that one.
Yep.
I think that will be there. 24-17 over Mississippi State. I think it may be a little bit closer and lower scoring than I think some people think. And Nichols beating Southeast Missouri, 24-10.
Let's hope so.
All right. Thank you all for giving us all those predictions.
That's it for Sports on the Bayou. Please visit us at HTV10 Facebook and HTV10 YouTube for a look at this week's show. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time.